I'm just trying to stick on my money, I'm not the feel like you can't stand fast, like you do if I ever see me, I'm cheap, I'm just trying to stick on my money, I'm nobody care. Feeling me, I'm not that before my day. Feeling me, I'm not that before the sunset shines. So we go, get before the rain. Nobody care. Feeling me, I'm not that before my day. Feeling me, I'm not that before the sunset shines. So we go, just before the rain. Nobody care. Feeling me, I'm not that before my day. Feeling me, I'm not that before the sunset shines. So we go, just before the rain. Nobody care. Feeling me, I'm not that before my day. Feeling me, I'm not that before the sunset shines. So we go, just before the rain.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Early Vote June webinar. My name is Favor, and I'm the lead project manager at Early Vote. Before we get into the program of today, let me briefly talk about Early Vote. Elevate is actually a global workforce innovation company that helps individuals grow their careers. It supports organizations to build high performing teams, and we combine skills, development, talent placement, and technology to connect the right people to the right opportunity, driving growth for both talent and company. So, wherever you are, irrespective of your career stage, we bring clarity to confusion. So you don't even have to be in the tech space for you to be part of Elevate, because Elevate helps everybody when it comes to clarity in their career. So this month we'll be talking about um, remote work and freelancing. That's our topic for this month's webinar. And we'll have our speakers here, and they'll be telling us about remote role and freelancing, how to get it and where to get it. So we have one of our speaker is a global talent recruiter. He will be here to tell us where to get all these um, remote roles and yeah, what companies look at for. On the other hand, we also have a software engineer that has been into remote roles and freelancing for a very long time, over 8 years, as well as a tech recruiter. So I'll bring them on stage now, and they will all give us their brief bio before we get into today's business. But before I call on to my speakers, if you're on our page for the first time, please click the follow button and like, and also turn on your alarm for every, so you can get all, turn on your notification button so you can get all notification from Elevate whenever we are having a monthly webinar. So I'll call on Darlington, the global tech recruiter. Please, can you come on stage and turn on your camera? um Darlington, I also call on Abiodun, a software engineer. Let's meet you, please.
Hello, hi, good to be here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning, Darlington. Good afternoon, Darlington.
Except you're in Canada or something, or somewhere in the States.
Well, I'm in Nigeria. Abiodun, are you there? You can come on stage too. So, Darlington, let's meet you, please.
Okay, all right. I'm not sure how to give introductions, but I'll do the best I can. So who am I? Okay, so I'm a global technical recruiter with a proven track record of leading talent acquisition efforts across Asia Pacific. Neymar is North America, and EME, that is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I've been recruiting now for about 6 years. So I have, give or take, 6, 7 years of cross continental experience, and I have helped high growth companies scale by hiring exceptional talent. From full stack developers to engineering leads, UI/UX guys. Um, um, Basically tech and GTM roles, and as well as C-level executives. Um, I am known for not just filling roles, but for positioning recruitment as a strategic, driver for business success. So by leveraging cutting edge sourcing tools like LinkedIn Recruiter, the GitHub, ATS platforms, niche online communities. I aim to bridge the gap between human potential and organizational needs. Lastly, I would like to end by saying my portfolio spans across multiple industries. Um, Tech, fintech, energy, healthcare, FMCG. I've pretty much been in various industries, whether it's building global remote teams or supporting digital transformation. I've been there, done that. Yeah, so I'm just passionate about the future of work, hiring, building distributed teams that thrive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Darlington. Let's hear from Abiodun.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you?
Yes, 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 I can hear you.
Hello, hello, Darlington. Favor, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
I can hear you.
All right. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. I'm in Lagos. I'm not in the States, so okay. I'm also in the States, Lagos State. All right. My name is Abiodun Michael. I'm a senior software engineer and a deputy lead engineering manager at Credit Technologies. I've been in this tech space for roughly 10 years, or let me say 10 years. Um, I've worked in every aspect of software engineering. I'm currently leading a team. I've worked as back-end engineer, front end, I've done mobile, I've managed people, I've led team. And I've also designed the architecture of some of the systems that are powering financial applications, both for foreign organization and in Nigeria. So that's just basic stuff about me. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, thank you very much. It's good to have you here. And we also have on the call Fidola. Fidola, can you introduce yourself, please? Fidola, can
Hi,
you hear me?
good afternoon, everyone. Yes, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be here. I am Fidola, and basically, I am the community manager for Elevate, and it's nice to have you guys here today. Can't wait to learn from you all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Glad to have you guys on board. Abiodun and Darlington. I've been waiting for today. Like, I think I have my pen and my jotter beside me because I mean, just like Darlington said, I also want to I also want to become one of those guys that will be earning in dollars, and I mean, still call myself global something, and 10 years of experience anytime soon. So I'll start by asking you guys few questions, because I'm really really motivated when I saw your bio. And I want to start with Mr. Darlington first. How did you get started with freelancing or remote work? And what was your first paying gig like?
Sorry, do you want to take that question again?
So how did you get started with freelancing or remote the recruitment thing? And of course, I know as a global recruiter, you must definitely be working remotely. So I want to know how you got started, and um, what the pay is in the tech market, the remote and freelancing market.
Okay, all right. Good question. So I'll start by saying that firstly, my story isn't the conventional story. It's a blend of work and grace, right? But but one of the first things I did for me was to make up my mind that okay, I wanted to get a job that pays me in FX and where I'll be within the confines of my home. So, firstly, it's the making up of your mind, the decision to say that, okay, you know what, I'm done working with Nigerian organizations. Right now, I want to work with global companies. But firstly, I think I should establish the fact that see there are differences, right? You can be working remotely and be working with a Nigerian organization. Yeah, so we need to understand that. So if we are talking about freelance and remote, I need to actually even clarify: are we talking about working with global organizations now, or just working generally remotely? Favor, do you want
Of
to
course,
answer?
we want to know about global. I mean, everybody wants to grow.
Okay, interesting, interesting. All right, so yeah, so first thing I did was to make up my mind that all right, I didn't want to work with Nigerian organizations anymore. I wanted to work with companies abroad and companies that would also pay in FX. So what I did after that was to work on my resume, right? So the first thing you want to do is build up a resume that attends to companies abroad. When I say resumes that attend to companies abroad, you could get that online. You could even use ChatGPT to give a sample of what your CV should look like if you are going to hire from abroad. So what are the things that you want to look out for? So firstly, you want to take out certain headlines depending on. You want to include certain headlines depending on, of course, the field that you play in. So take for example, as a software engineer, maybe on the back end side, right? So if you want to apply for a back end role, what are those skills that you need? So if you are JavaScript heavy, Node.js, of course, you want to put Node.js also, very, very well, maybe as a headline on your CV, right? So if you use Redux, if you use Redux here for state management, or you use, you know, other backend distant frameworks and all, maybe Express, you want to also put that on your resume, pretty much just to highlight some of the things that that employers are actually on the lookout for within your field, right? So that's why I used backend as an example. So for example, if you are looking for opportunities as a social media or maybe a virtual assistant, then you understand that you have to understand certain project management, technologies and tools. So all of those things have to be very visible on your resume as headlines now, right? As headlines, as keywords. So you want to have them on your resume. And also, one of the things that you need to do is build yourself a portfolio. I cannot actually emphasize this. It is very important. As a matter of fact, sometimes your portfolio could be even more important than your CV, and that's because your portfolio highlights not just your experience, but it highlights certain projects that you've worked on, right? And it has your contact details. So in real time, employers can see these details on your CV, right? So they click on it, and then they can go there. But I guess the question you asked me now was personal. So for me, this is pretty much what I did, right? I changed what my resume looked like right? And I applied myself as though I were somewhere in the States. And then, I did my CV in such a way that I included these headlines. For example, for me, talent acquisition, LinkedIn recruitment, ATS expert, and all of those things. I just put all of those things so that when you go on LinkedIn, for example, to search for anything that has to do with recruitment, or you go on your pipeline, companies use a lot of ATSs, or you go on your pipeline and type anything that has to do with recruitment, and I applied, there is no way my CV would not pop up. It's not possible, and that's just because I optimized how it would look like, right? And so that is pretty much some of the things that I did, to get my opportunity. And of course, when you're also searching for opportunities abroad. One of the first things, I don't know if I should speak to that right now, or we still have other sessions where we could pretty much zoom in on this.
Yeah. Let's take it one step at a time, because I also like to hear from Abiodun. Abiodun has been a remote worker for some time too, and Abiodun, I think he's still working with some Nigerian companies, even if he does gigs and all that. So I want to hear from his own aspect. What actually inspired you to embrace remote work or freelancing as a career fully, Abiodun? And how long have you been here? Because we are all young, and most youth, sometimes we have already given up on ourselves. But if young people like you guys can, you know can do this better or this good for yourself, and you have been there for like over 5 years, 6 7 years, I mean, how old are you? So we can do it too, we can get there. So I just want to know what inspired you, Abiodun, and how you have been able to keep up with this remote work and freelancing as a career path fully. Have been able to keep up with
Okay.
this
Um.
remote work and freelancing as a career path fully.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the question. I'll start by saying I started remote work without knowing I was actually doing anything called remote work. And that is because when I started, remote work was not a thing that was really popular for anyone to, to talk about. And I'm talking about in the year 2015. And I was doing something else before I got that job, though it was for a Nigerian company. Social media platforms. But yeah, but continuing in that particular field, working remotely, um, I think it has afforded me the opportunity to meet other great talents, other great people. It has expanded my knowledge, and also my horizon. It opened me to so many other opportunities that I never believed. Like they say, the world is now a global village. Um, where I'm in my village and I can be, it's like every one of us in the world, we belong to the same village, and I can from here apply for a job in another country. Yeah, that is what remote work has um, given me the opportunity to do. I'm not sure if you can hear me. The network keep.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
I can.
Just-
We can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Abiodun.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Abiodun, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. I don't know. I didn't get all the questions because the network keep breaking, and so I hope I've been able to answer your question. Or if you want to, if I miss any, you could call my attention to it.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think you're having some kind of network issues, so I'm just going to thumbs up anytime. But the next question is for Darlington, I want us to go back to the beginning and talk more about what exactly is freelancing, because Elevate is a community of youth, and as such there are some new people in this community that are just hearing the word freelancing. So Darlington, I want you to just explain what freelancing is and how it is different from the normal work everybody knows. So just quickly explain what that is. Thank you. You are muted. You are muted.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me clearly? Is it all good?
Yes, I can. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll begin by setting the context, right? So firstly, we have about 1.5 billion people worldwide, right? Over 1.5 billion people worldwide now freelancing or doing remote work, right? And that number continues to grow every year, right? So remote work and freelancing are like they are no longer puzzle words. They're no longer just puzzle names, right? That we just throw around. They are pretty much redefining how we live and how we work and how we connect, right? And the reason is the advances now in technology. A lot of tech startups. There's also the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, and all of these things gave rise to the rise of gave all of this is bettered, global digital platforms, right? The likes of, Microsoft Teams, Zoom. We have other freelancing platforms that we'll zoom in on later in the session. All right, so they've pretty much accelerated the how we've like shifted toward a borderless and flexible workforce. All right. So let's talk about, just like you asked, what does it mean? So basically, the most basic definition of remote work is just working for an organization from any location, outside of a traditional office, right? So this could mean either working from home, from a cafe, or even another country. Right now, there are some people that say that they work from home to WFH, right? So if you work from home, if you work from home sometimes, it's not necessarily remote work. And the reason I'm saying this is usually there's something called hybrid, right? Now, hybrid is, for example, if you're going to the office, of course, we work 5 days a week, Mondays to Fridays, right? Now, if you go to the office twice or once in a week and then you work from home the other days, you cannot then say, oh, I work remote. I work in a hybrid structure, right? So certain days in the office, certain days at home. So just to establish the differences. Right now, about freelancing is just offering your services independently, right? It is usually on a project or a contract basis, and most of the time, you have quite a number of clients, right? So that's what freelancing is. Right? You're just offering your services, but you're offering it on a project on a contract basis and often to multiple clients. So you are allowed to have multiple clients, right? But for remote work, so the key difference is remote workers are usually employees in quotes, right, with a fixed role in a company. So you can be working remotely and you are employed as a full-time staff of an organization. And what that means is you have your HMO, you have your insurance, you have pretty much everything. Like you're hired, on a full-time basis, right? So it could be that, right? Now, remote roles could also be freelancing. For example, you can have as multiple clients as possible and still work remotely, like still work, within the confines of whatever you choose to work from, right? Just to establish that. But for freelancers, they're just self-employed professionals, right? They're managing their own schedules, their own clients, etc. Right? And there we have benefit of remote work. There's it affords you flexibility, both in terms of time, in terms of location, and people can work wherever they are most productive and often on their own schedules. Another benefit is increase in productivity, especially in knowledge-based jobs. Because when you work from home, it just means that you don't have distractions. There are lots of people. Sorry, there are not lots of people at home, especially if you stay at home. For some people that actually are still with their parents, you go explain tire because you. So I remember my friend saying something like, "Oh, she's not sure if her parents understands that she works remotely because sometimes they have to tell her, oh, KG, come and do this, oh, KG, come and do that," and she consistently, has to tell them that, oh, I'm actually working, and they are like, oh, what work? So you go explain tire pretty much it. But yeah, if you stay alone, then increase in productivity and all of that. And one good thing about remote work is that it offers you opportunity to actually um, work with global brands. That is, it opens doors to global opportunities, right? So you can imagine that if you've worked with maybe a KPMG and you've worked remotely, for example, right? Um, it can open doors to other big companies, actually reaching out to you, and pitching their EVP to you and the employee for value positions to you, right? So I hope that I've answered that. Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we have been able to define three things: work from home, remote, and freelancing. Honestly, when I think about freelancing, the first thing that comes to my mind, I feel like the first people that started this freelancing thing were photographers, then others videographers. Then they could afford to, go to weddings, go to different events and just, freelance for them. But I think after the pandemic, then this thing now became widespread and we started seeing a lot of remote positions and all that. But it's good to be able to clarify everything. So the next question will now be, we have gotten the definition down, and I think anybody listening to this knows what remote is. So the question now is, can anyone be a freelancer? Let's just start. Can anyone be a freelancer? Can anyone work from home? Can anyone, just get into these opportunities? And the follow-up question is, if anyone can do it, what are the platforms that people can use? Just tell me three platforms that we can just write down now and just check out later.
Okay, all right. Good question too. So your first question was, can anyone actually work remotely, or freelance? Definitely, and I think you're not far fetched when you mentioned, maybe the set of people that started to work, in freelance model, where photographers and like, yeah, so we could do that. I mean, that's a very basic analogy, but pretty much captures it, right? Because you are offering your services, right? And you own your time, you own your schedule, you own whatever client. You can decide to say no or yes to any client. So pretty much covers it, right? So to answer the question, can anyone work remotely or globally? Definitely. Anyone can work remotely, anyone can work globally. However, there are certain things that you need to actually consider if you want to work remotely. So firstly, like I started off talking about, your CV and your portfolio. So all of those things have to even, be settled. So now, and this one has nothing to do with whether you're working globally or you're working remotely or you're working or you're freelancing. You should have a CV, right? So you should have a CV, you should have a portfolio, right? So you can have all of that. Now, having had that, you can now what I call positioning. You can now position yourself to attract brands abroad, right? And you do that by actually strategizing. And one of the key things that I'll tell people, and I don't give out this information usually for free, so count yourselves lucky to be here. So one of the best ways to go about it, when you go on LinkedIn or you come across people's CV, when you see a Nigerian, for example, working with a brand abroad, that should already tell you that this guy is higher from Nigeria. Simple is as simple as that. So the best way to even know companies that are hiring abroad, just check for Nigerian software developers on LinkedIn. You can check a company, check their employees, right? Look at those guys. Those companies that they have there, maybe based in California, in Paris, in these cities in countries abroad. Write this thing down. Reach out to their recruiters. Reach out to their to their recruiters and their people operations guys. Reach out to their even to their CTOs and founders or co-founders, right? Have a very strong value pitch that you want to send across to them, right? And of course, before you do that, like I said, you've tailored your resume, and if you have a pitch is more or less like a cover letter for those who are not sure of how to do that. So if you have a cover letter saved, right, your cover letter is pretty much about um, your experience, and what you intend to offer this company. And before you put that, it means that you've actually researched on the organization. So you know the industry, you know their services, their product, and you've probably sensed one or two errors or one or two things that they are probably not doing well, or maybe they are doing, but maybe you could offer more, maybe provide some ideas. You have all of those things, and you send it across. It's just a value pitch, more or less like a cover letter. So you reach out to those guys. All right. So that's actually one way to do that. I don't know. I'm sure I've answered your first question in terms of who can work, remotely globally. So yes, anyone can do that. You just have to position yourself well. What was your second question again? You're mute. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. What platform can people listening, what platform can they go and sign up and start? I am particular about these foreign jobs. In fact, after this call, I think I'll be signing up on this platform that you're going to mention. So, what platforms can we go and sign up if we want to get these foreign remote roles apart from using LinkedIn? What platform can we register on?
Okay. All right. Now, so apart from LinkedIn, Indeed, right? Apart from LinkedIn and Indeed, which are very traditional platforms. I mean, not traditional, but like people know them. Yeah. Now, there are other platforms that you're looking at, and the reason why I'm going to give a brief overview. The reason why these platforms came up was because of the COVID, right? COVID, tech evolution. Lots of companies are now springing up. So number one, um, you have Upwork. So Upwork is especially for freelancers, right? And Upwork is quite popular, and it's especially for freelancers. So Upwork now, how Upwork works is, you have your rates. You can put in your rates, right? But there's a way to it. You pretty much open an account. You build your portfolio, build your accounts in such a way that employers abroad can actually reach out to you. So you work with these guys on contract basis. So sometimes it could be for 2 months, sometimes for 3 months, or as long as the project lingers for, right? And you have the opportunities to actually decide your own rate, right? So it could be maybe $20 per hour, it could be $30 per hour, whatever the case. But it is good to actually do your own research before you actually put in a price, right? Which is very important. And you should also have your own contract, right? So that is contract that you send across to clients to say, okay, this would capture our agreement in terms of how many hours I can work, in terms of what you are paying me, in terms of things I can do part time, right? So there's Upwork is popular. There's also it's I don't know, maybe twin brother or younger brother, I'm not sure. Fiverr, right? So there's Fiverr as well. It's also another freelancing opportunity. But then there are also new ones that have come up, right? So we have the likes of TopTal, right? So TopTal is also a very out there platform, right? Like it's very popular. So you can on TopTal you can actually also have um, freelance. You can have employers reach out to you on freelance basis, but not just that. You can also have employers reach out to you on remote basis. That is, they probably would want to hire you, full time, right? So you can agree on whatever it is. Now, apart from these ones, there are other things that I would mention that are not very conventional. For people who are not, for people who are not social media guys, all right. I would think that it's actually a very good opportunity to look at to look at Twitter. Now, one of the places that you can catch employers, startup founders off guard is on Twitter. See, on LinkedIn, everybody's forming boss, forming official. I promise you, they are not all like that on Twitter. Fact, they are not all like that on Twitter. One of the best places you can reach out to them, right, without being so much official is on Twitter, and that's because they have their guard down. But there's a way to go about it. So one of the things that you want to do first is before you even reach out to these guys, first search for things like, okay, yeah, before I say that, please, and this is very important, there is high tech companies, there, startup. If you're looking to work remotely, please avoid big tech. Please avoid big tech. And the reason I'm saying avoid big tech is you may not get the opportunities. I don't know if you people know how WhatsApp started. WhatsApp started as it started. There was a guy, Brian Acton. He had worked with Yahoo for like 11 years as a VP of engineering, and then he resigned. Right, he resigned his role, or maybe due to one or two layoffs, and he was affected. And then he first went to Twitter to interview. He didn't go as planned. He went to Facebook. He got rejected. He got served breakfast, right, in Bonner Boy's voice, right? And at first, then he decided to just chill a little bit, just re-strategize. And that was how a friend of his called him, and then they built WhatsApp, right? And long story short, the same Facebook that he interviewed for, they called him back, right? I mean, not called him back, rather. They approached him to sell WhatsApp to him. To that is Mark Zuckerberg approached Brian, for him to sell WhatsApp to him. And this was because when he built WhatsApp, when he launched, I think first day he had about 100,000 users on the first day, right? And then in 1 month they had over 1 million users and so on, right? And Mark Zuckerberg was like, "Oh, really? This is nice." And then he bought WhatsApp for about 19, if my memory serves me correctly, about $19 billion, right? So my point is, avoid big tech, especially when you're starting out, right? They may not necessarily really look at your portfolio. They may not even consider you. One of the things that you want to do is consider those startup founders, especially those that recently just raised money. And there's a way to do it. Just go on LinkedIn, search YC backed. You will see certain companies that would pop up, right? Those are the companies that you should actually target, especially when you're starting out. Maybe you have about 0 to 3 to 5 years experience, right? And maybe you are having a very difficult time getting, global jobs abroad. So those are things that you want to do. So, like I was saying on Twitter, um, you want to go and search for stuff like building in public, in quotes. You want to go and search for stuff like founder of, or launching soon, or I need help with, and if you play within the virtual assistant space, or maybe product design, UI, UX, whatever it is, you can do hiring a designer, hiring a VA, hiring a content, whatever it is. I just use the filters. You see latest posts. You see lots of posts on Twitter as well. So you can engage. Look at these guys that you want to engage. Follow up with them via DMs. Custom it. Like I said, always go with value first. Don't just say, "Well, I'm looking for jobs." I feel like that's a very lame way to go about it. A very lazy way to go about it. Have them, write them. Don't just reach out to them. Strategize. Write a couple of things that catch their attention. Right? Yes, I know I mentioned that you can catch them off guard, right? But it is also very important that when you're reaching out, first impression matters a lot. Yeah, because you might not necessarily always get the second opportunity. Right? So you can do that. There's also stuff. Another one called indie hackers. Right? And now this is where you find solo startup builders, like people that are solo. Right? Just many of them are actually bootstrapping their projects, their ideas, but it's also a good place to start, because now it means that when you start with them and there is growth, yeah, you would be glad to say that you pioneered, the existence of that organization. Do you understand? I don't know if any of you here saw one tweet by one principal software engineer at Money Points that just left. He said he talked about pretty much how we started with Money Point. They were in Tosin's apartment. So Tosin is like the CEO of Money Point. They built from there, from Tosin's apartment. They built, but now he's leaving. So my point is, and I'm sure, trust me, I know because I worked at Money Point. This guy has probably vested or he's probably going to vest his stock options. They have stock options, equity. So all of these organizations, they give you this opportunity, right? So those are companies that you want to look at, those startup founders and all of those things. So yeah, so like I said, indie hackers, indie as in INDIE hackers as in hackers.com. Just go and browse the product milestones tabs. You see they look for people that just launched something or something like that. And you can also look at product hunt. So there you can find new products. You can see the name of the product founder. You can then trace them on LinkedIn or Twitter. Reach out to those guys. I feel like I've spoken too much. I should rest now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel.
Actually, you have. At this point, I just want to leave now and start looking into all these places you have just mentioned. Like, if I have what it takes, I will end everything and go and start job hunting. But thank you very much, Mr. Darlington. I don't know. I want to see your reactions there, because I don't know if I'm the only one that is getting this into my head. Let me have your reactions. I want to see that, like, because Mr. Darlington has poured a whole lot. This point, I want to ask Abiodun, what are those three skills that are very sellable right now in Nigeria for people that are trying to transition into tech? Some persons are confused, they don't have this clarity. I mean, whatever is making anybody to transition, of course, passion and money, it should be involved. So, can you just tell us what are the three high paying skills in Nigeria that we can easily transition into? Abiodun, are you there?
Okay, thank you. The question is the three high-paying skills that anyone can easily transition into if you want
Yeah,
to work remotely. I
yeah.
work in the tech space, but I always try to make sure I don't limit recommendations to only the tech space, because a lot of people would say no be everybody go write code or do things about tech, right? So, but the number one thing is um, the there is a shortage of skilled worker globally, not only in Nigeria. I also work as part of the recruitment team for consult on my freelancing and also in my full-time job, where I do consult for people to help them recruit talent and all. And I understand this thing that there's shortage. So again, any skill that you have that is can be done remotely is sellable. But to answer the question directly, um, of course, anything tech is sellable remotely. Um, we have QA engineers, people who are into QA. I have colleagues who work for foreign organizations that do QA engineering for them. And we're talking of 2, 3 jobs. I, as a software engineer, I've worked for a lot of companies, both in US, in UK, in Dubai, and many organizations. In fact, recently, some of us just dropped on my desk, and we're just having those discussions, right? Also, now a lot of companies are looking for people who can speak multiple languages. I know of companies abroad who are looking for customer support, because the truth is many of these companies are um, they are they want to expand into Africa, they want to expand into Nigeria. And one thing is that the language, the understanding of the language to be able to explain issues to them, to the local markets is very important. But they don't want to have an office here in Nigeria. So they need you who can do the virtual assistant, you can do the customer support for them. Um, that one also is also very high paying. It's in high demand. I also know of colleagues who offer content management or content creation for foreign organizations. Right, you're here in Nigeria, and those companies, they need somebody who can, maybe you're good at writing, your writing skill is good, you want to be able to help them to push out that push notification they want to send to their customers, or you want yeah, just content, basically video content, text content, whatever you can call content. Those are some of the skills that you can sell, and many other skills, a lot of many other skills. If you're into AI, you have people who are looking for you, maybe as a data engineer, if you're into DevOps, you have people who are looking for you in DevOps. Again, I am talking about my space as in tech and also the people I work with, because this is my space. But in this digital era, I don't think you should limit yourself to only tech skill. It's not everyone that will do tech. So what you can do is just go online. Today, just we have LLM algorithms everywhere, ChatGPT, Grok, and many of them. That you can just go to and just search for statistics. What are the high-paying jobs? This is the field where I am, and you get to see the numbers. Sometimes they will give you even up to 2024. All you need to do is to just position yourself in this place, right? Just position yourself. And before I forget, right, there are those who say, oh, I'm looking for a remote job. Then when you ask them the question, what skill do you have? They don't have any skill. So it's like MTN saying, I can fix your data issue, but they are not offering the data. They don't have the expertise. They don't have the technology to make that available for you. There's nothing to sell to you, really. It's just, there's really nothing to sell to you. So if you're looking for a remote job, you want to have that work-life balance, you want to open yourself to global opportunities, you need to first of all pick a skill and be good at it. Then the next thing you want to do is to market yourself. I said before, when in my introduction, that when I started tech job, when I started remote work, right, I didn't know it. That was in 2015. 2015, yeah. I was doing remote work, and I was just talking about remote work. Oh, it's what I've been doing since, right? And what gave me the opportunity to even go there is that I was prepared. I had the skill that somebody could come, to come and look for me, right? So, and in addition to what Darlington said, because I have experience also in getting remote work and all that. So, if this would make sense, um, while you can go and meet these people on LinkedIn, search for them on other social media platforms and all, right? Your perception, the perception of you, how you present yourself online, also have a lot to do with the kind of opportunity that you open yourself to. Now, there's this thing going on now, and I know, I think our recruitment expert here, Darlington, would agree with me that many of these foreign organizations, especially even big tech, big organizations, they they give this contract to small recruiters, people that you chat with daily. They are not the owner of the job. They are not the owner of the companies, right? They give these things to them and they tell them to go out and look for somebody for them. Some of them are already following you on social media. Some of them are part of your LinkedIn profile. They are there. And in today's world, it is not only about how you if you're able to do the work. They also look at how you think, your engagement with people, if you can fit into culture and everything. They monitor all of these things. So you are the one that need to present yourself, sell yourself. If you know how to do something, keep talking about it. Leave politics for people who are doing politics. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about politics, right? But yeah, sell yourself. Let people know. Let these people know that you offer these things. Sometimes this opportunity will come knocking. I've had opportunities that came. Most of the remote work I got, recruiters entered my game and say, "Hey, can you do this?" I mean, we followed you. We noticed that you can do something like this. Yeah, we'd like to interview. And many of these, it's just straight to the CEO or to somebody, and they just get the job. So I just wanted to add that. I hope I've been able to answer the question.
Thank you very much, Abiodun. At this point, I don't know what to say, but please, can you tell me these keys? Because some of us that transition from previous career into tech, sometimes we think it's magical. Like you just transition and you get this paying gig, boom. So I want to know, what advice can you give us transition, look for internship, whether paid or unpaid. It has to be in a very big company. So I want to clear these perceptions. Like, I want you to talk about these things for those that are transitioning, because people don't want to hear the struggling parts of being in tech. They just want to hear the good part of it. So I want you to tell us. Now, you made mention of customer support. That's very interesting. Content writing. Wow. Like, man, these are now I'm thinking, because he said we should not limit ourselves. Maybe I should go into content writing or learn customer support. So I'll start targeting those people that want to come into Nigeria. But then I need to start from somewhere, because nobody's going to employ you when you don't have experience. Nobody. And nobody wants to come and look at the kind of experience you had, in as much as you have the experience and you can do the job. So I want you to like, maybe a word of advice for those of us that are gradually coming into tech. How do we go about this to position ourselves out there in the job market? The processes. We don't want to skip
Okay,
any.
that's a very brilliant question. So, how do you position yourself for opportunities? So, how do you position yourself for these opportunities in the job market? Number one is do I like to advise people to do personal research, right? Before you transition, first of all, understand what is there. Some skill are already phasing out, even though they are still trending, especially if you are dealing with global market, right? Some skills are already phasing out. We can go
Can
on
you
and on
give
and talk
us
about, argue
can you
about
give
them,
us
right?
an example
But
of skills
you need
that
to
are
first of all
facing
do
that?
research and then pick your interest. So obviously, you know that if you're coming from, let's say, the background of maybe banking and financing, or maybe you work in a bank as maybe a teller, and you want to move into a tech space, maybe to become a QA engineer, for example, you need to go through the process of studying, understand what QA is, and different things like that. And one of the things that can help you is to build a community around yourself. There are people who have been in that field who, they've gone through some of these things. They've had all of these bad experiences that they can actually guide you. Their guidance can make you, avoid some of these things. And the good place to meet them is on social media, especially on LinkedIn. Every day I am getting someone in my DM saying, "Hey, bro, this, right? They love something I said, and they would like to, for us to engage more, and stuff like that, right?" So you need to first of all try and join a community. It will help you a lot. Most of the time, even yesterday, there's someone that has been, in my DM on Twitter for a while. They want to go into tech, they want to do this, right? And it took a while before we could up on a call. And I just gave a path, what you need to learn and different things. And this person will go ahead and do stuff. I mean, Favor, some of the things that we've have to do to help people in the past, how we have been able to guide people and help them to transition. So if you can get somebody or join a community, it helps, right? And it's not easy, especially because of the issue here in Africa. We must say it. Most of us have to be doing something so that we eat, so that hunger will not finish us, right? Um, for us to move into that, it's just the determination and the timeline. Do not be in a hurry to just say, "Oh, if I can learn it in 3 months right now, I'm just going to go into it." Another very important thing is that most of the remote job, especially for the global community, right, that you are going to get, they are most of the time they are not going to be full a permanent role. Sometimes they are contracts. Most of the time, in fact, most people that get remote jobs, they transition from contract roles to permanent role. So at the end of the day, there's no labor law that kind of protects you. They can terminate your contract anytime. So, but how do you make your stay? How do you make yourself to stay there? Is if you are good at what you do, take your time to study, get people that can guide you in this field. avoid this loop of learning everything because it is trending. You know, a lot of people I have wasted my time learning things that I'm no longer using today. It makes sense if you say you're going to content writing and you get somebody that can give you a career path, or even if you are the type that use the social media, you can definitely use the internet to research by yourself. You can get all those guardians there and you study, you become an expert in 3 years or in 1 year, right? And then begin to sell yourself. Let it be that you got the job, you're doing the job, and then maybe something happened, they told you to leave, not because you are incompetent. So again, to just briefly go over it again. First of all, you need to pick a struggle. You need to pick something you want to really sell, the service you want to sell. Give yourself the time. You want to make the money, but give yourself the time to study, to become good at it. About internship is something that helps a lot, but in managing team and also recruiting tech talents for organizations, something I've realized is that in our culture, which I feel a lot of us in Nigeria needs to stop, is you have learned this thing, you know, you are not experienced, you feel like they should pay you like somebody that already have the experience that you will learn on the job. You will block opportunity for yourself to grow. Because if I employ you, if you join my team as, let's say, a tech person, and you say you have the experience, I definitely would be expecting you to offer the experience, the skill that you have already. If you are not giving me what I want, you will leave. I mean, even in your 3rd month or 6 months during probation period, you're going to leave. You've lost the opportunity to grow, right? So be sincere with yourself when you're going for internship and tell them, hey, I'm an intern. Please, I would like to. It gives them the opportunity. They already know that, yeah, you don't know this thing. And then you can go ahead. They can begin to train you, right? So it's not easy, but it's just determination. For some of us, we had to be doing some other things before we got some of these opportunities. Yeah, I hope I've been able to answer the question.
Yes, thank you so much, Abiodun, for that. Now that we are speaking of, okay, we have the skill, we have everything. My next question now is for Darlington. So, in the freelancing space, really, sometimes that you get some gigs and you do everything, and then the client just disappears on you. So, how do you handle this personally? How do you go about this issue of, okay, you take your time, you do a task, and then you submit the task, and then they just disappear on you. So, what do you do?
Okay, nice question, but also a very simple answer to that is you move on. Um,
Move
now,
on.
now um, I usually tell people that you're not going to get every job that you qualify for.
Hmm.
It's like it's about so the popular saying is cut your losses and just move on. And the reason I'm saying this is see that you did not pass a job interview doesn't mean that you're not good enough, right? And this applies across various models of work, whether you're working remotely, whether you're working in a hybrid setting, whether you're freelancing, you will not get every job that you qualify for, except you are Moses, you've been called by God, right? And the truth is, even at that, you're not going to get every job that you qualify for. And now, there are certain things that would make you not get these jobs, and I'm just going to put them across. For example, if you do not understand, firstly, so maybe you've not done your own due diligence. I've also mentioned how it is very important that you research the organization, research the role, right, before you even interview for a company. Sorry, at an organization. And how do you do that? So if I were to interview with Money Point now, for example, what I would do is I would go online, check about Money Point, look at the products that they are building, right, and see where I am coming. Now, if I am a product designer, what I would do is go online, maybe on Indeed or anywhere, look at the kind of responsibilities and requirements that Money Point has for people they are bringing in as product designers. And then go also on LinkedIn and look at the people they've also employed as product designers, right? So one of the ways that you want to do that is after you've done this, you can reach out to these guys that are employed in these organizations and say, oh, I am interviewing with this company in social time. That is, if you do not mind reaching out to them anyway, I'm interviewing with this organization, within social period. I would like for you to give me some tips, right? And let me tell you something about Nigerians. We are emotional beings. And when I say we are emotional beings, most of the time we want to help. Most of the time we want to help. As long as you make us feel very important. So if you come to me, for example, on LinkedIn saying you want to interview with my company, just rub my head a little oil, just a little oil, and I'll tell you exactly, oh, okay, so if there are things that, if there are secrets that I need to spill, I probably would spill and tell you, okay, so this is how to go about it, right? Now, firstly, like I said, get all of this together, the organization, what products they are offering, what services you think you can help them with that would better that would better help them or position them, um, for business value, right? That will make them even more competitive. So all of these things are things that you want to actually check, right? So another thing that you also that would probably also make one lose out from an interview is what I call maybe out of cultural unfitness, right? So now, technically, you are sound. You know how to code. You know how to review code. You know how to design. You know how to do everything else, right? But maybe you are lacking in something, in a soft skill. It could be something as simple as grit,
Mm.
GRIT, right? And a people operations person would probably expunge it from you even introducing yourself, right? They can see how passionate you are about what you're talking about. They can see it. It doesn't hide sometimes, right? And if you're just someone that maybe after the call you feel like, eh, this guy, I don't know. Or maybe he's technically sound and all that, but then leadership wise, it's not good, right? Now, I've actually told a lot of people there. If any of you have probably joined any of my sessions before, what we have, people that we have leading organizations and people that are interviewing as well. Many people are just subject matter experts. They're not really leaders, right?
Wow.
So yes, you understand how to code, do everything. Technically, you are the best, right? But in terms of managing a group of people, yeah, it's a challenge. So if, for example, you are interviewing for a team lead position, how am I supposed to give you that role, right? So what I'm saying in essence is this. I will give an instant. There was a time I interviewed someone at Money Point, very sound guy, senior software engineer on the back end side, architecturally brilliant, did algorithms assessment. It was beautiful, very good guy. But then when we had the last call with people operations team, we started to ask him some leadership questions here and there, people management, how we also, respond to feedback, whatever it is, and all of that. Some of the responses he gave, we could pick that this guy wasn't actually going to be as relatable as possible, right? And people might actually have issues taking the opinions of other staff members. So we picked
Wow.
that out from his comment, and we didn't give it, right? So
Wow.
sometimes it's as a result of all of these things. So which is why we also emphasize that people should actually sharpen their soft skills, right? People management, empathy, problem solving, all of these things, as soft as they are, that's why it's soft as they are, you can pick it, right? So very important. And also, again, like I said, sometimes it's not even your fault. I can tell you that for a fact. Sometimes the organization are not even sure what they want, right? So it is not
Mm.
every interview that you actually interview for you're going to get. It's not. And sometimes when you miss out on sorry, when you miss out from a session, from an interview session, and maybe it doesn't go further than that, it's not because you're not the best of the bunch. It's probably just because maybe you don't now. Also, I should say this: some employers would rather employ someone who has, maybe, for example, if we're interviewing with InterSwitch, they would probably would prefer someone who has a switching experience, and you may not have that, and you think that, oh, you're not a good candidate, right? It's just maybe what they want, and maybe they didn't spell that out in the JD, the job description. So there are
Yeah.
these very little aspects, of these things. And again, just to round up, that you failed an interview session doesn't mean that sometimes it's just not for you. And sometimes it's just God's way of redirecting your path, maybe to something better. Right? So it's not always the case that you did not do well in an interview. No, it's not always the case. I refuse to take that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Darlington. We are already at the end of the session, but I have one last question because as freelancers, we have the ability to choose multiple, jobs if you are very talented. Now, the last question is how can you manage multiple, or let me just ask you, how do you manage multiple clients at the same time and also deliver quality work for them?
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So firstly, I usually tell people not to even bother trying to take as many jobs as possible, whether you're a full time, whether you are working hybrid or freelancing, whatever it is. And the reason is simple: it's easier for you to get clients that you can actually handle and dish out certain projects that when they look at them, they would give you your flowers, right? It's best to get jobs that you know that you are going to actually do it and do it well than taking jobs that would make that you won't deliver, and then they'll start thinking that you don't know your onions, right? And then they wouldn't even recommend you anymore, right? And that's also some of the problems that we are facing right now in the tech industry. I've interviewed a lot of people where seniors guys who said they know how to code and they call themselves senior software engineers, but then you can't pass an algorithm assessment on HackerRank, right? And but you call yourself a senior software engineer. Yeah, and then in 2 months they're asking you to ship out product, or maybe in 3 months or whatever was agreed, and you're having issues with it. So my point is, if you take as many jobs as possible, the only thing that's going to be left out is what is burnt out. You're just going to be burnt out, right? You'll be burnt out. You won't deliver quality stuff. You won't get recommendation, and you just find that your name is just being shipped around on the mall, right? So just take jobs that you know within your heart of hearts that once you take these jobs, you're going to deliver within the time, within the timelines, right? And then also, it's also going to be great work. So there are no numbers to use. I think everyone should just know themselves, right? Know themselves, know yourselves, know how many work you think how many jobs you can take, right, and still deliver effectively and efficiently. And never, never, what's the word now? Never for any reason in the world. There's the word is at the top of my lip. I cannot at the tip of my tongue, but I cannot get it out. But anyway, I'm just going to use it, anyway which possible. So the
Yeah.
thing is this: always make sure at every point in time that you're giving out your best. If you're going to take as many jobs, you're not going to give out your best. I usually would not even encourage it at all, at
Yeah.
all. So I can see that Favor is already tired of me. She's already leaving, so I'm just going to end it here. Um, thank you.
No,
Yeah,
not really. Like, no, sir.
I was
No,
going to
I
say,
am still here. But I
I was,
mean, I can see a lot of questions in the comment section, and it would be very bad if we don't take questions from the comment section, right? So someone is asking that when Abiodun spoke, he talked about a lot of tech jobs that are phasing out. I'm sure it's somebody that is trying to transition. Like I said, Elevot is bringing people from confused to clarity. And I mean, people that don't even know where they want to start from, they cannot start wrong at all. So can we mention either those skills that, okay, Abiodo actually mentioned two, but can we also know those ones that are phasing out, so that the people from Elivot community will not make a mistake, because we are giving them clarity, and we want you guys to also talk about this clarity. That is why we are here. What are these keys that are phasing that, so people don't start going into that aspect of tech and making mistakes that are not supposed to be made as beginners?
Um, who's going first?
Abiodun, you can take that question first, then we round up with Darlington.
Okay. I think that question is for me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Correct. Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
yes. Abiodun, you can take that question first, then we round up with Darlington.
Okay. I think that question is for me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. So
Yes, yes. Abiodun, you can take that question first.
okay. So sorry about the feedback. I mentioned that because I know it's a very sensitive thing. So that I mean, and I'm also happy somebody asked the question. So some of the jobs that are facing out, for example, if you are still in the space of doing WordPress, like all you know how to do is WordPress and you call yourself a tech guy, just know that with different tools that are coming up, that people can now use to create headless content management system, or to the tools like different tools that are coming up nowadays. Even today, you can just go to ChatGPT or go to Lovable or any platform and just prompt it to create a website for you, a beautiful website for you, and it will do it very well for you, right? So you should know already that the number of people that are willing to employ you to do a WordPress, to use WordPress to create their website for them is already reducing. Then we used to say a lot about data entry jobs. This was when a lot of companies were still doing many paperwork, um, and then they want to move to digital space, and then they just send you pictures of those things, and they want to impute them into a field or different thing that we can think of, right? Already we know, based on available statistics, most companies are now even digital. And even today, with some of the AI tools that are there, you can actually put your camera on your, put your camera on on the paper like this, and it will extract the content for you. So I know people who were into the data entry job who they no longer have a job, or they've transitioned into something else because nobody really wants them anymore. Then talk about we the software engineers. When we started, we used to use vanilla JS, jQuery, HTML, CSS, to create a front end and different things like that. But now we have different frameworks. And most companies, the first thing they want to look for is, oh, do you know how to do Angular? Do you know how to do React? Vue. So if you still find yourself in that space where all you know is how to use jQuery to, manipulate DOM on the front end and all that, just know the number of jobs that are out there for that thing is reducing, right? And again, it's also very important to mention that the fact that it is facing out in, let's say, a country like US doesn't mean it is the same thing in a country like Canada, right? Or in
Yeah.
UAE. In fact, I will even say something from personal experience. Um, Many of the offers that has come to me from different countries. I'm talking of big organizations that came through. Remember, I mentioned before that just like Darlington said, it is not easy to go into those big organizations, but they give this contract out to lead small recruiter, sorry, people who are just on LinkedIn, and they will just follow you and all that, right? And you find out that they are trying to transition from one technology that they are using in their company. Maybe they were using Express.js for those who are doing Node.js, or they're using one technology like that, and they feel like they don't need that anymore. People just need to keep following the statistics, right? And then they come here and they begin to look for somebody. And I'm wondering, like, we've been using this technology in Nigeria, even in the some US job I've done. Why is it like you guys is like a new thing to you guys in this company? If I mention the company, is a very big company. Many of them have been like that, legacy systems that they've built. So again, you need to know that I'm planning to get a job in the US. What are the skills that are selling in US? Then
Yeah.
you tailor yourself, you position yourself. Position is very, very important. Positioning is very, very important. People that are into marketing, they position themselves, they position their product. Every day, the content they create, they look at the mood of the country, the audience, and everybody, right? You, as a person that you're looking for a job, you know the country you are targeting. You want to earn in dollar. You want them to pay you in what currency you want to do, right? Then look at that country. Just do your research. I just mentioned a few. Just do your research, and
Mm.
you will understand what I'm talking about. And then you can just pick up what is trending there. Sometimes it may be just to move, improve on what you have, learn a new technology, and then you go on. Again, just to round up, my recommendation is not just for tech,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I believe that not everyone in Elevote is looking into tech, right? That's what I
Yeah.
think, right? So, but you're looking at global opportunities. So do not just limit yourself, because we're talking about tech a lot. Just look at the country. You want to work for a US company, research. What are the skills they are looking for? The statistics are there. Pick them up. Pick the one you like. Improve yourself in it, and then position yourself. Sell yourself is very important. Sell yourself. If MTN can sell data to you every day, they do promotion every day for you to buy their data. Why can't you sell yourself? Sell yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abiodun. We've already passed our time, but Darlington, I would like you to quickly mention in just a minute some skills that you think are going out from your experience as a recruiter, so we can just round off. You are muted. You're muted.
Okay, all right. So I wouldn't. I mean, that I don't think there will be any need for me to spend so much time here, because
Yeah.
if not, I'll just be reiterating pretty much what Abiodun had said.
Mm.
Pretty much mentioned it. So, but for me, I would say for writers, I just want to focus on writers right now. See, ChatGPT they write, forget. ChatGPT they write, give anybody anything,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if you are a writer, one of the things that you want to do right now, yeah, is, especially if you're a ghostwriter, now those ones I pity fast, because now they're not even seeing you at all. So ChatGPT is writing for you. Pretty much, they're not that they won't know it's ChatGPT, right? Now, I'll just advise that people just find a way to infuse. Now, there are transferable skill sets, right? In some areas. For example, if you are just a content writer or anything, you can then switch to technical writing, right? It's not something that ChatGPT can't do, but at least you know that you're now infusing it into something that's more personal and it's more tech driven, right? Now, so yeah, people should now maybe try technical writing, where you also maybe need to get a little bit more, technically sound, right? And there are also, other things that people would need to maybe very well um, be be careful of. So for those that maybe are still in the receptionists, or people that are receptionists, yeah. And right now we have lot of stuff that are now replaced by maybe different phone systems, different chatbots, self-service kiosks and desks and all of those things. AI is now replacing a lot of things. So if you find yourself within these specializations, I think it's just best that you find a way to transition into something that's maybe related, right? So, and for those in VA virtual assistant, actually, I think that's beautiful, but it's still administrative. So, but it's also a good way to pivot from virtual assistants to project management, because most of the things you're doing as a virtual assistant manager or specialist, yeah, you could also transition into PM and still keep those skills, and maybe also need um, to skill up more. So yeah, I'll just end it here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Darlington. Thank you so much, Abiodun, for making the time to educate us today. And definitely, I think we are going to bring you guys to, in another session, but we are going to call it a day
Indeed,
here.
indeed, indeed. We have to bring them back. This time is not enough at all. We need to invite you
Yeah.
guys back.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. On behalf of Elevate, we appreciate your time. And thank you for giving us that extra 19 minutes instead of that 1 hour we promised. So thank you all so much. And have a wonderful day,
So,
guys. Bye bye.
Fidola, sorry, before you call it off, Fidola, sorry. I hope you guys do recommendations as well. Abiodu and Darlington. You guys are Darlington, you're a tech recruiter, and I know I've been following you on Twitter, both of you, and you are doing a good job. I know you have access to these companies, and you can as well do recommendations for people. So I hope that Elivot is going to benefit that from you. Abiodun, I know Lagos state government just gave you something very, very big and awesome that will be coming to you later. Seriously, I am very proud of you guys, and we want to do more with you. But Darlington, that aspect of recommendations, we really need it because our upskill program will be coming up soon, and we'll be training a lot of talented people. Abiodun also has I think he also has a program he's running, and when people come from these two areas, and you can recommend for us, you can, take us to those companies. Fine, we'll do our own due diligence to, like, you know up our game, our skills, and ace our interview. But let's just get the connection, because Nigeria is all about networking. If you have the right networking, you can do anything. So yeah, I hope I'm not asking for too much.
That is totally fine. It's been
Thank you
it's been,
very
it's
much.
been a
Yeah.
wonderful time. Thank you, Favor. Thank you. I'm not sure I got your name. Um,
Fidola.
Yeah, you did.
Fidola. Okay.
Fidola.
All right. Yeah, good to have this session, Fidola, and to my esteemed speaker as well. Esteemed fellow speaker. Thank you also for your time. I've learned a lot too from you. Thank you guys, and thank you also to the audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You can follow Darlington and Abiodun on
Oh
Twitter.
my God.
Abiodun Mike, Darlington Ayawu. Please, you can also give them your official Twitter handle, so we can follow you up. I'm promising my people we're going to bring you up next time. Please put your official Twitter handle on the comment section there. And if you have not liked our page, please like our page and turn on your notification, uh, your YouTube notification. We're going to be bringing something mind next month, and you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out from all Elivot's activities. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, my speakers and my co-host, and have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.